The Honorable Memartiwati is a lecturer in public speaking class 4B at Lamka University. And to all my friends who join this meeting, may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bless you all. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. First of all, let's thank to God Allah who has given us some mercies and guidance so we can choose the best choice of way, namely Islam. Secondly, salawat and salam may be upon to the most honorable Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, who has brought us from the darkness to the lightness. Thirdly, I give thanks to Memartiwati, who has given me the opportunity to practice speech as public speaking final exam assignment. And I don't forget to give thanks to all of my friends who joined this meeting. Well, ladies and gentlemen, my name is Sahlah. I'm a student at Lamka University, majoring in English Language Department. Well, I'm here, I want to deliver my speech, and I hope you guys feel amazing like I do. Well, in 2020, spread a deadly and easily spread virus. The arrival of this virus changed the world system, and almost changed everything. Without me telling you what the name of this virus is, I make sure you all know very well, from children to the elderly must know this virus. Am I right? Yes, this virus is the coronavirus, the virus that has changed the world and our lives. The change that occurred because of the coronavirus were that workers who used to work in offices turned into working at home. There were many limitations in socializing, and students who used to go to school or campus became distant learning or online learning. Well, ladies and gentlemen, do you guys who work as teachers or those of you who are like me as students find it difficult to run online learning? Okay, for those of you who find it difficult, don't worry and don't go anywhere and just listen to my speech carefully. Well, my speech consists of 4 points. The first is the technical issues of online learning. The second is the obstacle of online learning. The third is the possibilities for certain subjects to be online. And the last is the effects on students and teachers. Well, the first is the technical issues of online learning. The technical issues of online learning are many students are not provided with the high bandwidth or the strong internet connection that online courses require, and thus fail to catch up with their virtual classmates. Their weak monitors make it hard to follow the course management system, and their learning experience becomes problematic. Moreover, most of them live off campus and find it difficult to keep in tune with the technical requirements of the chosen course. Some of them don't even know computers and seek help in learning resources centers of technical assistances. The only solution to this problem is knowing exactly what kind of technological support they will need for a certain course before enrolling in it, as well as properly equipping themselves for the course's successful completions. And then the second is the difficulties or the obstacles of learning online is the first is lack of focus. So our focus is divided from one thing's focus to another. For example, we are having an online classes, but we are doing other things such as sweeping, eating, and others. Not to mention brother or parents who like to order us when we are in class. The temptation of cell phones is also very severe. Cell phones are like calling us to open them and make us open TikTok and Instagram. Well, I think the solutions to this difficulty or to this obstacle is for us to focus on ourselves by getting rid of things that are not important and giving understanding to our household so as not to disturb us when we have online class. Well, the second obstacles of online learning is a bad signals or a bad connections. A bad connection is also a problem that is often experienced. For example, the teacher is explaining the lesson. It turns out that suddenly our Wi-Fi turns off or our internet quota runs out. Our connection is cut off. Another example is when the teacher gives a quiz where the problem is given time and suddenly the Wi-Fi signals are lost or our internet quota runs out. Then we will be left behind on the quiz. The bad score we will get is not because we cannot, but because of the signals. Well, for this problem, we should provide a backup device. For example, we use Wi-Fi for online learning activities. Now, even if we use Wi-Fi, we have to prepare internet quota. just in case our Wi-Fi has problems. Likewise, when we use internet quota, we must ensure that our quota is sufficient for the online class activities. And the next is the possibilities for certain subject to be online. The lesson that might be better done online than offline, that is the lesson used focus to imagine or think deeply to create a work, such as literature lessons. These lessons are probably better done online because this lesson require a very focused mind and a quiet room, which is rarely found in offline school. And the next is the good and bad effects of online learning classes. Well, the first is the good effects. Previously, we need to know that all the steps we take, all the decisions we make, all our behavior must have an effect, good or bad. Just like this online learning activity, there must be an effect too. Now, the effect of online learning that is good for students is online classes are convenient. The first obvious advantage of online classes is the sheer convenience factor. Perhaps some of you are burdened by a lengthy commute after a long day. The thought of the traveling to yet another location before heading home is an impossibility. Now, with virtual learning, you have the option of taking classes in the privacy of your own home while wearing your comfy slippers. And the second good effects is online classes are flexible. Not only have you saved hours by not having to travel to a cycle location to take class, but with online courses, you have greater flexibility in choosing the best time to study. And the last good effects is online classes are more affordable. Well, the next is the bad effects of online learning. The bad effects of online learning for students and teachers is online learning may create a sense of isolation. The second is online learning requires a self-discipline piggybacking of the sentiment above. Being part of a community and cyclically attending classes increase accountability. And the third, the last bad effects is online learning means more screen time. It's pretty much inevitable in 2022, but darn do we spend a frightening amount of time in a phone of screens. Online learning sadly contributes to these problems. So, to sum up, the technical issues of online learning is the first, many students are not provided with high bandwidth. And the obstacles of online learning are, the first is lack of focus, and the second is bad connections. And next is the possibilities for certain subjects to be online. The first is literature, and the second is essay writing. To sum up, the good effects of online learning on students and teachers is the first, online learning is the sheer convenience factor. The second is online learning are flexible. The third is online learning are more affordable. And the bad effects of online learning on students and teachers is the first, online learning may create a sense of isolation. The second is online learning requires self-discipline. And last is online learning means more screen time. And the solution for the obstacles is first, knowing exactly what kind of technological support that will be needed for a certain course before enrolling in it. And the second is focus on yourself by getting rid of things that are not important. And the third, giving understanding to the household so as not to disturb us when we have online classes. And the last is we should provide a backup device. In conclusion, we must be able to accept all the circumstances and destiny of life. Problems will definitely exist, but don't forget that every problem must have a solution. Well, enough for my speech. Thank you for your attentions. I'm sorry if there are any mistakes from my speech. I hope you guys can take a good point from my speech. And Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.